Well, hello and welcome. This is the third of 4 videos in which we describe how to set up your electronic stop labelling project in Hauptwerk. As you can see, I've loaded the St Anne's organ, and we have already, in video number 2, we spent time setting up some empty records ready to receive the stop label text. To access that, we click on Organ Settings and then MIDI LCD Planner Control for this organ, and here we have a whole set of 120 entries all ready to receive our data. So what we're going to do is we're going to select these records in pairs, and the reason why we're going to do that is we're configuring the St Anne's organ, which only has 3 divisions. And what this means is we can show all the 3 divisions on each stop jamb, and using the sim pin, which you will see referred to in the core kit construction manual, we will be able to get a nice mirror image on each side on each stop jamb, and we'll be able to set our stops either with our left hand or with our right hand when you're playing. You can't do that, of course, with an organ which has more than 3 divisions, and in that case you have to enter the 2 left and right stop jambs with different data. But with the St Anne's we can use the same data for both stop jambs. Now I've selected the top 2 records, and you'll notice that we have some data here that we previously entered, but the MIDI output is actually bold and italic, and this is giving us a message that this particular field contains 2 different values across the 2 selected records. If the values are identical, they'll show up as non-bold, non-italic. If one of them differs from the other, then you will have a bold italic entry. But we've no need to touch that, because we want that, because we want one of these labels to go to the left jamb and the other to go to the right. So the first thing to do is to determine the actual LCD ID required, because if you remember, we set up a temporary value for that when we created the records, and for this pair of records it should be LCD 001. We leave this value exactly as it is. Don't change the lamp colour, because if you do, the background will become lit and the text will become black. Now you might be able to do that for 1 or 2 OLEDs, but if you did it for a lot, it would undoubtedly overload the Arduino, because the current increases dramatically if you use black on white as opposed to white on black. We've already set the display information format to be label text for stops, so we don't need to do anything with any of those other than set the correct hardware ID. So we've saved ourselves a lot of time by all that work we did creating the records. Now this is label 01, which what I've done, and I always do this for the organs that I'm configuring, I do myself a piece of hard copy with showing the layout of the stop jambs, so that I can lay out my stop jambs the same as they are in the virtual organ. And in the virtual organ, stop 01, oboe 8 foot. Good. Now I need to tell you something about the differences between LCDs and OLEDs. We're using OLEDs. OLEDs probably are better than LCDs, because the OLED is higher resolution. You can change the font if you want to, and also each pixel emits the light. Now consequently, in Hauptwerk we have 32 characters available across these 2 fields, 16 in each. One for line 1 and one for line 2. Now the thing is that LCDs actually have a fixed width font, whereas the font size, the space occupied by a character with OLEDs depends on the width of the character. So I naturally takes up less room than, say, a D or a B. So it's difficult to predict really how the data is going to appear on the OLED, because we're using a non-fixed font. So although you've got 16 characters on here and 16 characters on there, you can never be sure that you won't have a short line even though you've got 16 characters, or you might have a line that's a bit too long if you've got extra width characters in there. A lot of W's, for example, you might not be able to get 16 on a line, whereas a lot of I's you would be able to. So you have to kind of be prepared to make some changes. Consequently, in our system, we do not rely on line breaks being dependent upon the number of characters in the line. When you use LCDs, they can be, but when you use OLEDs, they can't be. So in our system, we force a new line with a special character, which is the caret, which is a shifted 6. Okay? So that tells Hauptwerk and our system that that's the end of the line. You must put at least one caret, well in fact only one caret, in these two lines somewhere or another. But that's a very short line, so we've just tagged the caret on the end there. And that one's done. Now let's go to number 2. Let's set the LCD ID to number 2. Now, as I mentioned before, each OLED shows 2 stop labels. And each stop label has 2 lines. So there's 4 lines altogether available on the OLED. The top 2 for the first label, and that will have an odd number. And the bottom 2 for the second label, and that will have an even number. Now we're dealing with an even number at the moment. So therefore we're dealing with a stop text which will go on the lower line of the OLED. Now, if it's a nice short line, I prefer to have that appear on the second line of the space allocated to it. So I will always put a caret there first, which tells our software we're going to set a new line there, so this data is going to appear on the second line. So it's going to be O2 and it's going to be tremulant, because that's the next line in our sequence. So now I'm going to select the third entrant, and that's got to have the LCD ID 03, and this is on the top half of the next OLED, so we're going to put 03 there, and this is the trumpet 8 foot. Okay, so trumpet 8 foot. That will only require one line, so we must put a caret there at the end of that line. In every record there must be a caret, and a simple reason for this is that we do not split the lines in the way that Hauptwerk assumes we will, because we cannot predict the number of characters that will fit on a line in our OLED. But we have got 16 characters there and 16 characters there. Right, we've done that. Let's do number 4. Let's set the LCD ID to number 4. You'll notice throughout that we have a pair of records with the same LCD ID. Don't worry about that, because it's bound to be so, because one of these will go to the left stop jamb and the other will go to the right stop jamb. So they can have 2 identical LCDs, but they're on different stop jambs. Right, the label for number 4 is the mixture 3 rank. Now I suspect that this will go on one line. It's in the lower half of the OLED because it's an even number, so therefore I prefer aesthetically to have it appear on the bottom line of the OLED. Therefore, to force that, I've put a caret in there, and then that forces a new line, so it will go on the second line of the lower space. We could put it in here, but we would still need to put the caret before it, because as I've told you, we are not dividing the lines in accordance with the 16 characters, because we have non-fixed fonts. Right, now we're going to number 5, clarinet 8 foot, 05, clarinet 8 foot. Don't forget the caret. Now we're going to do number 6, and we've got to select 006 for the LCD ID. It's a rather long line, it's contraffagoto, so I'll show you how to organise a long line where the text is so long that it'll take up both lines in the lower half because it's an even numbered LCD ID. Right, so this is 06, it's contraffagoto, contra. Now I think it would be wise to break the line there, and then we can carry on with the rest of the line. We can either type as far as we can on there, no more can go on there, so we can just carry straight on here with an 8 foot contraffagoto. And in case you don't understand that, what will happen here is this is an even numbered record, so therefore it will appear in the lower half of its OLED, and at the first line of that lower half will carry the 06, a space, and then contra. But because we probably can't get the rest on that same top line, we break the line there. And normally what I do is I carry on typing for as long as it will go, and then just carry on continuously on the next line, because as I keep saying to you, in the way Hauptwerk probably intended to do this, they were doing it with a fixed size font, with all letters occupying the same space on the LCD. We're using OLEDs and we're using a non-fixed font, so our letters do not all appear in the same width, so therefore we don't take any notice of this division of line 1 and line 2 in terms of its action on our system. We split our lines using the caret. Okay, and let's select number 7 here, a salicet 8, so let's type 08 salicet and 8 foot, and don't forget the caret. Now we're going to go to number 8. This is an even numbered line, so it's on the bottom half, but it's very long. It's viola da gamba. So 08, we can put the ola and possibly de on there. Then I suggest that we move to a new line. Now I have been putting these numbers in 01, 02, 03, the numbers of the LCD ID. I do that because if I make a mistake, I can instantly tell which LCD ID I've got to go to change it, because it will appear on the OLED. 08 will appear on the OLED, so it will automatically tell me what where I need to go to make the correction. So I advocate that, but you, of course, you're entitled to do it as you wish, but I recommend it. I've actually realised that I've missed out an I from that, so let's put that in. I think that's there now, so it is. Right, let's go to number 9. Let's select the LCD ID, number 9. We put 09 here, and this is piccolo, which is nice and easy. 09 piccolo, and it's a 2 foot stop. Right, and we can just pop a caret on the end of that, and that's done. Right, we're up to 10 now. 10. This is an even numbered stop, but it's a long name, so we're going to start with 10, and then we're going to put Geigen, G-E-I-G-E-N, and what I'll probably do is put the caret there and carry on here. Or, if you wish, you can carry on there because the new line will appear. Anyway, and keep typing till you can't fit any more. There's 16 characters there. Can't fit any more. Carry on as if nothing's happened on the bottom line and just put it like that. We're going to choose 11 and then we're going to enter 11, and this is the box. Why have I put this instead of that box? Let's see if it fits. Celeste's. Well, that'll probably fit, but there's no more line, no more space on that line, so we will carry on and we will add the 8 foot, and don't forget we've got to have a carrot. We'll inspect all of these just to make sure that our spacing looks reasonable on the in the labels on the stop jamb, but we'll put them all in first. This is number 12. Here is 12, and it is the Flauto Magico, which is also a very long one. So, and I think we'll put the carrot there, carry on here until there's no more typing. Accepted, put it on here, Flauto Magico, 8 foot, like that. That will work better. You'll soon get experienced at working out how to make the best use and the best aesthetic on this arrangement. This is number 13, and it is Lieblich Bourdon 16 feet. L-E-I-B-L-I-C-H, Lieblich. And I think we would do better to split that line there, type as many letters as we can, come to the end there, carry on D-O-N 16 foot. Jolly good. Right, here's 14. 14 is Ruhr flute. It might just fit. We'll try it. 14 Ruhr flute, and it's an 8 foot. Now we come to the end of the line there, so all we do is you just carry on, right, and put your foot sign there, and that's 14. Right, those are the entries now for the swell stop labels, and it'd be a good idea to see what that now looks like. Now, because we are using more than one stop per OLED, these changes that we've just made and clicked on OK, they won't be sent and received by our stop jambs unless we do a save operation. So we must do File and Save. That's all we need to do. And once we've done that, we will find that our stop labels are now there on the swell division, and we will just go and check that that's the case. And it is indeed present, as you can see. What we're going to do is to reopen our dialog there. If we leave these LCD IDs that are unused, if we leave them set to 20, there is a danger that they overwrite any of the data which we might place in later OLEDs with the same 20 LCD ID. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spend a minute or two changing these to their correct number, which for that one is 16, and for this one is 19. Now at the moment they have no text in them, so they will just display blank on the stop jambs, both stop jambs. They'll display blank. But what I'm going to show you at the end of all this is how to use those spare OLEDs to label couplers, for example. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to start here, what will be number 21, and we're going to label the stops of the great organ in there. So we start by allocating that to number LCD ID 21, which is fine. And then we're going to start by labelling the clarion on the great first of all. So that's going to be 21, and it's going to be clarion 4 foot. Good, that's done. Don't forget the caret. Now the next one is 22. There we are, and that's going to be 22. This is trumpet 8, and because it's quite a short label, we will put it on the second line of the second space of OLED number 22. So let's do that, 22, and it's going to say trumpet 8 foot. Good. So that's now done that one. Now we're going to do 23. And here we are, 23. That one is mixture 4 ranks. So mixture 4. And then a caret. Next is number 24. And here we are. Let's have a look and see what that is. That's a 15th. It will probably fit on the one line, so we'll try it. 24, 15th. And of course that's actually a 2 foot rank, so we'll put that in. 25 is clear flute, so that's 25 clear flute, 4 foot rank. I can't type any more onto that line, so I will put the foot sign for the 4 foot, and then the caret I will put there like that. So now we're on number 26. That's principle 4, so we can put our caret at the beginning and number 26, and then our principle 4, and that will fit in very nicely, so that's fine. So now we're on number 27. Lieblich gedackt, L-I-E-B-L-I-C-H. So I think I'm going to split that line at that point and type the rest of it on here. And gedackt in this case is just ACT. Of course, one of the advantages of these labels is every variation of spelling according to which language the organ was built in, we can cope with the spelling of all of the different variants. So gedackt, and that's an 8 foot. So there we are, number 28. Setting that to number 28, and number 28 is open diapason large, so that's very long, so we can't just put this on the bottom line, the second line of the lower half of the OLED, because it's got so many letters. So it's going to be 28 first, and then it's going to be open, and we might get diapason on here, we might not. We'll just have to keep going and see. We've got diapason, that's fine. LG, 8 foot. Right. We may decide to edit some of these once we've had a look at how they lay out on the OLEDs. But don't be afraid to do that. It's perfectly okay to do it. This is 30 and it is Dulciana. And it's 8 foot, and you'll notice that that one will fit on one line. So let's displace that to the bottom line of the OLED. Good. Now we're on to 31. Open diapason small, another very, very long one here. 31. Open diapason. I'm going to put the caret there. No room for it. I'm going to put it there. Open diapason small, and this one is 8 foot as well. Good. And we have actually done all of them. What I'm going to do now is just going to change the remaining labels in the central column of each stop jamb. I'm going to change their LCD IDs so that they won't overwrite each other when we decide possibly to use these labels for something else. So that one is 33. This one is 34. This one is 38. This one is 39. And this one is 40. You'll notice how we have always got the required LCD IDs visible in the part of the list which is displayed, and that's owing to the fact that we have actually entered a more or less central value for our groups of settings here. If we hadn't done that, they would all be starting at 001 and we'd have to scroll down and do a bit of fiddling all the time. That is now 40. I will set that to 40, and we have now completed the swell labels and the great labels. We just have to deal with the pedals now. Okay. The pedals go from 41 onwards, but they occupy the right hand column of labels on the right hand stop jamb and the left hand column of labels on the left stop jamb. So let's just put those in whilst we're here. So there is 41. That's the first of the pedal stops, and that's trombone 16. And that is 41, so we type 41, and then we'll type trombone 16. I believe it will all fit. Which it has done, as well as its characters also fitted. So the next one is 42. So we will select 42, and 42 is a 15th, which is 4 foot. So we might be able to fit that on the lower line of the second half of that OLED. So let's see if we can. So we type here 15th, and it's 4 foot, and I'm sure that will fit. 43 is the next one, and there's 43, and it's an octave 4. Really good. 44 is the next one. There we are. And that one is open diapason 16, so that will not go on one line. So there's no point in us trying to enter that for the lower line of the second half of that OLED. We will actually use both lines. We'll need both lines. And it gets 44, and then it gets open diapason, and probably at that point we create a new, well, you notice nothing happened when I typed that caret, because that line is now full. So we have to go down here, we need the caret, and we need to put a 16 in there. So that is absolutely fine. Open diapason. Now 45, we don't have to set the LCD ID for that, because it's already 45, because we set that in the middle of this range, which of course is from something like this central range of our 60 OLEDs was from 30 to 60, so it's in the center of the range. Flute base 8. Flute base 8. 45. Flute base 8. Now I think that's all gone on there, but once again we're in the situation that it can't accommodate the last character, so we'll put that on the second line. This is number 46, sub base 16. Might fit on there. 46 sub base 16, and that's it. It will probably fit. The next one is 47, echo base 16. 47, echo base 16. Let's see if that's fit. And let's see if we can get the caret in there. No, we can't. We've got to put the caret there. Now, amazingly enough, that's the last of the stop text to be entered. What we've got to do now is take the rest of these and give them their appropriate LCD IDs. So starting from here, deselect, select, these are to be 46, these are to be 47, these are to be 48, these are to be 49, 55, 56, 57. Okay, having saved those stop text into Hauptwerk, I've got an image here of the two stop jams. This is the right hand stop jam and that's the left hand stop jam. I took these images from the organ bench. I just want you to see that they're not perfect yet, and we'll identify where the issues are, and I'll advise you on how to deal with them. That one is the pedal, this is the grate, and that's the swell. And on the left jamb, because we've opted for this nice symmetrical picture, this is the swell, this is the grate, and this is the pedal. Now, we've already seen the data that we put in for the swell organ, and fortunately we were able to do that more or less without any errors. So that's fine. I'm probably going to leave that like that. Notice how, because we put our caret in front of the line, it's displaced the text of these short labels. It's displaced them like that one there, and that one there, and the tremulant. It's displaced it to the second line of the space available for it in the OLED. So here we've got the two inner columns showing the swell. Now let's have a look at the two divisions that we've just recently completed entry for. Clarion 4 foot, that's fine. 22 trumpet 8, that's fine, and that's also true across the way here on the left hand jamb. So we're going to leave those as they are. Mixture 4, the 4 rank mixture, and the 15th 2 feet are absolutely fine also on both stop jambs. The clear flute 4 and the principal 4 are fine. The only potential issue is you might consider that the 4 foot mark here is a little bit close to the divisor line here that we've got on that label, in which case you could edit it and put a caret in front of the 4, and then it would displace the 4 onto the next line. When we look at this side here with the clear flute, it's absolutely fine. There would be no need to do that on the left jamb record, just on the right. Looking down here, 27 Lieblich Gedackt 8 foot, we definitely couldn't get the word Gedackt in there, so that's fine. But look, we've got a problem here with the open diapason large. I thought we would have, but we can resolve it. And if we look across the way on the left hand jamb, the same problem applies. So the solution to that actually is very straightforward. It's to put the caret in front of the D of diapason, and then you will have 28 and open on one line and diapason 16 diapason large 8 foot on the second line, and do the same on that side. Looking down here, Dulciana 8 is absolutely fine on both jambs, but here we've got the same problem with the open diapason, but this time with the open diapason small. Not surprising, it's because it's such a lot of text there to enter. So do the same thing with that one as I suggested there. Put a caret in front of the D, and then you will get diapason small 8 on the bottom line. Do the same on those. So as far as the grate division is concerned, we've done very well. We've just got a couple of corrections to do, mainly concerned with the open diapason small and large. Now let's have a look at the pedal division. The trombone 16 and the 15th 4 foot are absolutely fine, but can you see there on the octave 4 foot on both left and right jambs? Do you know what the solution to that is? We forgot the caret. So go in and edit number 43 and put a caret at the end of the 4 foot, and that will remove that extra line that's in there. The mechanism behind us deciding to use a special character for dividing the lines is that Hauptwerk software was written for LCDs, which have a fixed width font. But we're using OLEDs, and OLEDs are hugely better than LCDs. And in an OLED, of course, the letter I, like mix in mixture, the letter I actually is very much narrower than, say, the capital M. And so we can't judge the width of our string of characters in the way that you can with LCDs. Therefore we would have to accept here, for example, consequence here is that our open diapason hasn't fitted. Go into that record and put a caret in front of the D, and do it on both jambs. So therefore don't forget the caret on the end of record 43, and don't forget splitting the line on record 44. Now, flute bass, this is unfortunate. The flute bass and the figure 8 has fitted, but the foot mark has not. So go into that record 45 and please put a caret in front of the 8, and then the 8 foot will appear there. And looking across the way here, you've got to do exactly the same on both jambs. The 46 record sub bass 16 foot is beautiful, that's fine. The echo bass 16 foot hasn't worked. We would need to put the caret in front of the 16 and do the same on that side. Now, I'm not going to make those changes. I've been through them for you, but this video is long enough already, so I'm sure you're capable of making those changes and correcting that so that it is absolutely fine. Well, that brings us to the end of the third video in the series of 4. The fourth and last video deals with the process of filling in the upper 4 OLEDs on each of your stop jambs with the name of the organ and the organ divisions. So thank you again for watching. See you in video number 4.